Sean right here from musculardevelopment.com. I'm in front of the world-famous Gold's Gym. You might recognize this guy, the real deal Chris Cormier. He had me correct the pronunciation of that last name. Legendary Chris Cormier. 6-time first runner-up at the Arnold Classic. 4-time pro Ironman champion. Is that right? 4 times?
4 times in a row.
What happened to the 5th? You lost the flex wheel in that one?
No, I just thought I was going to let one of my comrades, Dexter Jackson.
Oh,
yeah, I
that's
said, hey, Dexter, come on and do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to be in the audience. He said, you sure you're not going to do it? I said, yeah, I'm not going to do it. Come on, win that thing. And then he won it.
Were you in it?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I was ready to go, but I thought maybe I'd try to save up
For the Arnold.
Yeah, for the Arnold, but it backfired, and Dexter ended up getting my title.
Dexter got the title, so he didn't take it from you. He just accidentally fell into it.
Well, the judges was oohing and ahhing for him at the Arnold Classic at the Ironman.
Yeah.
So he brought that condition a little bit better the next week.
All right.
But then I switched it up on him the next week in San Francisco.
All right, so we cleared that up. Dexter Jackson did beat Chris Cormier, but Dexter Jackson never beat me. Do you remember that?
2005. 2005.
yeah,
he said he beat me.
No, he didn't beat me. He said I retired too soon. But that being said, it brings us to a very interesting point because Dexter is still competing, and you're talking 2005. That's almost 11 years ago. Chris, you were notorious for coming in condition. Your posing was highly admired by people that were used to watching posing routines back in the day. You took special attention to that. I imagine you put emphasis on your posing because of the people that came before you. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, that was the thing. Before, it was no time limit on your routines, and I came up when people were popping off 10, 15-minute routines, you know, Bob Birdsong and all these guys on Wire Willow Sports, and it was no time limit. So I think it was a huge emphasis on the need for posing, need for practice, the need for your stage presence to be, you know, impeccable. And there's, you know, and back then you had to stand like a statue on the side of the stage, or you're going to get it counted down. So that was something that I really paid close attention to, talking to some of the different judges and just learning my way throughout the years.
Yeah, and I think also, Chris, what brings me back to that place was that it seemed like everyone we were competing against were paying attention to posing, not just the posing round, but also the standing symmetrical round, and then you had to come out with the right music and the right style. So everyone had their individual styles, which made it interesting for the fans. Have we lost that today?
I think so, because now I think if you do some kind of gyration or some kind of dance movement, they think that's great posing.
Right.
But I'm looking at the way you set up the next pose, that you actually hit a pose. Are you walking back and forth like you're doing
guest posing?
Guest posing or a rap show, a rap concert? You know, I think it's more to it than just going on stage and doing a couple of funky moves and stuff.
Well, it's interesting now because we're here in retirement. We're standing in front of the gym that basically Arnold Schwarzenegger and Franco Columbu and Lou Ferrigno put on the map. And then in the 80s, you had some other bodybuilders come in, Mike Christian and Charles Glass. And then suddenly here comes Chris Cormier and Flex Wheeler and the like. And now we're removed from it. As a matter of fact, we don't even know who's running the gym anymore when everyone knew the personal trainers. And now you've gotten into that training area and you're helping other bodybuilders by giving back and paying it forward on a global scale. We know that you spent a lot of time in Australia and over in Kuwait. Tell me about the transition from competitor to trainer, and what is it that you're actually trying to teach these guys coming up behind you?
Just noticing it was like a sort of a drop-off where the sport didn't go to a whole new level with conditioning and posing and the art of bodybuilding, what I actually grew up on. And it's, I don't know, I just think that it's something that needed to get resharpened. I just wanted to be like the guy that was helping out the teenager guys,
right.
Get a little bodybuilding one-on-one type of thing when they won the teenage nationals. So I connected with a few teenagers that I thought had great potential, and a lot of them turned pro already that I've been, helping or having some type of mentorship from early ages.
Well, that takes us back to where we're headed now, the Arnold Classic, which has given a lot of bodybuilders a lot of opportunity. Flex Wheeler, 4-time Arnold Classic champion. Dexter Jackson now has 5 titles. That was one that eluded you. I won in 1990 and 91, and you spent a better part of your career trying to get that title, a 6-time first Arnold Classic runner-up. That's nothing to be shameful of because you weren't losing to any slouches, but you did feel that you at least won one or two of those contests. Tell me how important that contest is, not just to be a participant, but how important it was for you to try to win it.
Well, you grew up watching Arnold and throughout the likes of Pumping Iron and Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer,
right.
And it's an important title. I felt it was another thing I needed to try to accomplish to get me onto the next plateau or to the next level to try to get to the Miss Olympia title. But I felt I needed to get that one, and I really wanted it. And I felt like should have been Jay in 04. No 04 and 05. I thought I could have edged out Dexter because that was actually the first time he beat me. So, but like you say, it was no slouches that I went up against at any given time. It was another time also when I think NASA won, and I think I think NASA won. I felt I could have been in that top call out for that one also.
Well, in a sport of subjectivity, you don't always win, and sometimes you actually become the people's champion in losing. And that contest certainly didn't diminish your impact on the pro bodybuilding stage because you went on to win shows over in England and over in Australia and all across the country. But it also put you on the map to be in demand to travel worldwide. And what was that experience like for you to go out there and get paid to perform, to train, to eat very nicely and live a professional bodybuilding lifestyle? How was that for you looking back at your career?
It was amazing. I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I went to so many countries and actually competed, performed, done guest postings. So many countries, Amsterdam, that was a place I would go for months at a time. Australia, I would stay for 4 or 5 months at a time. And then just going around and just meeting, just actually having a car and going and buy groceries and going to the gym and actually living there in some of these areas for months at a time and then come back to America over and over again. It was awesome. I love that I did it. And I'm so glad because I now have fans in so many different countries that you don't even know who you're touching or who you're going to inspire, but it's all was worthwhile.
Yeah, and while it's nice to reflect back on a career that once was, we're living in the present now, and we've got some new faces coming up on the landscape. I'm going to give you a short name. You give me a short answer about these guys coming into the game. Short name, Dallas McCarver. I'm short all around, but Dallas McCarver coming in seems to be one that people are talking about. Dallas was 9th in the Mr. Olympia Championships, served notice. And what do you make of this kid? Or I think it was 8th place in the Olympia.
I think he's such a large individual. Like when you stand next to him, you get a better understanding of how big and large and wide he is. Just from I spent time around him, seeing him and stuff. He's very, very impressive. And I think even now he's even finding he's trying to up his IQ in the gym with the nutrition. With everything that goes along with competition. And I think, he's a lot of quantity. I like if he came down with a little bit more quality coming into this competition, he's going to be dangerous for anybody who steps on that stage.
But and at his age, it's again about refinement. Dennis Wolf wasn't exactly a finished product when we first saw him, but he seems to be the next coming of the Dennis Wolf.
Yes, he has but like you said, at that age he's that full neck, that full. Well, he's like full tilt right now at that age that he's at. It's a tender age, but you always know that those guys are going to be great ones when they attain that type of look at that age.
Right, and we saw big Justin Compton go out to the Arnold Classic over in Asia and win that title, got 10th place in his first Olympia, even though he had qualified in the years prior. What's he got to do to bring his package to be a threat on that Olympia stage in the top 6?
I think it's still in a stage of refinement in the gym. I think there's a couple of body parts that stand out very strongly, and some different areas of his body need to improve. But he's not even as tall as he actually looks. He looks a lot taller on stage, but I feel like if he, brought the defined and definition along with keep improving the posing and perfecting his posing along with his physique and what type of physique he has, I think he has a great chance to do great.
What do you think about the Lionel Bayecki, the Frenchman? He won the last show of the year over in San Remo, Italy. He's coming on strong at this right time.
I think he's a diamond in the rough, man. I think he's been went through different trials and tribulations in life. He knows what he wants, and I think he's really a lot more dedicated now to making himself the best he can be. I think the sky's the limit for this kid, and I feel like his shape and symmetry and the proportion of his body is just amazing, and I think he's going to be great.
Well, what do you have to say about Big Rami? You know something about this guy. You go to Oxygen Gym out there. The announcement was made yesterday by Bader Budai that he is not going to be working with Chris Aceto, and that Bader and the Camel crew are now going to work with Big Rami. What do you say about that?
Wow, I think that says something to the crew out there. That it's a tight-knit group. He has all the tools, all he needs. He has all the support group he needs. I think mentally and physically, he's going up to new heights. I think he believes in himself now, even from his Olympia place, and then he went on. He actually beat Dexter at the competition in Kuwait. He plays really well in Spain also. So I think he had a successful run. I think he still fell short of what he would like to be. I know he'd like to be number one. I've seen him myself at 292 and 300. That he was like not far off where he should have been. I thought it was something that was going to be something that the world has never seen before. But I think he's still that guy. All
right, he's getting very close to where he needs to be. And of course, that leads us to William Bonac, who arguably could have been a bodybuilder of the year with as much progress as he made. He took out Dexter Jackson. He beat Big Rami. He beat Rolly Winkler. And only a year ago, he had just kind of been inching his way along. He actually went over to Finland and he won there. And now here he is, a top 5 Olympian. What do you have to say about William Bonac?
Oh, William, I've known this kid back in Amsterdam when I used to go there in my times. He was a lot smaller then. He's actually grown into a whole other person that you would have never believed that he would get to this stage, but he actually manifests himself into a great champion, and his conditioning along with his muscle roundness and aesthetics, he's just amazing to see on stage. And to be a smaller guy like that, he looks crazy by himself, but then at the long and then at the times of competition along getting comparisons, you'll see that his conditioning kicks in, and he got a crazy muscle roundness that's not easy to obtain.
All right, some great observation from the legendary Chris Cormier, who's now a trainer of the champions. Where can people go, Chris, if they want to be trained by you, get nutrition by you, or even posing practice from you?
Thegrind.guru is my website, and you can go there and then working worldwide, online, or I even fly out to a few places to personally help quite a few of my clients. And everyone's doing great with the diet, the training, the bodybuilding 101 philosophy that I teach, and it's been going great. I enjoy doing what I do.
All right, Chris Cormier, giving back to the industry. We're going to be bringing more of these in-depth one-on-one interviews with the celebrities and the stars of bodybuilding and fitness from right here at Venice Beach, the mecca of bodybuilding in front of Gold's Gym. I'm Sean Ray, MuscularDevelopment.com.